Alright. What's up, guys? Average Gamer signing on with another Pokemon Draft League video. We got Season 3 of the ENC Draft League, and that means the Charlotte Zards are back, baby. We are going back to singles for this draft, meaning it is my first DLC singles draft. I got actually top 8 in my first singles draft of Scarlet and Violet, and last season was VGC, and I didn't actually perform that well in that one, which, you know, kind of sucks given how my channel is pretty much VGC based. But I did win the redemption bracket, which was kind of playoffs for lower seeds. So I came away like somewhat of a champ, I guess. So this time we're going back to singles and I'm going for the gold, baby. And I need a squad to do it. So draft in my eyes is like far more enjoyable when you use Pokemon that you like or just haven't used before. And that was essentially the only plan I had going into this. I know I stopped uploading draft content from the previous seasons. But this time I want to be as consistent as possible, so please be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy, as it lets me know what type of content to make. So, I wasted enough of your time, let's talk about the team the Charlotte Zards drafted. So this draft was a point system with anything 9 points or less being capable of terrestrializing, and you had 115 points in total to draft with. I actually got the 5th pick out of 16 coaches, which is pretty good, and instantly knew what I wanted, as I assumed things like Dragapult and Iron Valiant would be taken. So, for my first pick, I got Great Tusk. Yeah, in draft, you know, having a ground type's good, having a Rapid Spinner's good. I think having a Booster Energy Mon probably pretty good too. And yeah, Great Tusk fits all the boxes. And it's my favorite Paradox Mon, so it works. So, getting these things out the way early means I could fill other roles with my later picks, which I think kind of gave me some versatility going forward into the draft. In terms of actual play, I think Tusk is a pretty versatile Mon as well. Has offense potential, has good bulk. Speed tier of 87 is pretty good, and I could give it a booster if I really wanted to outspeed most things. But that would take essentially all of the EV investment because his attack and physical defense are so high. So moving forward into the draft, I want to make sure that I got some extra speed and also some special bulk to cover its main defensive weaknesses. So, second pick. Great Tusk, great Mon, but a lot of weaknesses. So I definitely wanted a defensive pick that can synergize pretty well with Great Tusk overall. So I picked up that boy, Corviknight. Resists most things that Great Tusk is weak to, primarily Fairy and Grass types. In addition to being just a great bulky option in general, it has good support tools like Defog, so I don't have to run Rapid Spin all the time. And then Taunt to stop setup, and Slow U-Turn just for momentum. So I think Tusk and Corv have pretty good symmetry, as Electric and Fire moves that hit Corv don't want to be in front of a Tusk, and Corv can take the Fairy hits aimed at Tusk, so yeah. So my third pick, I said it before, I need some speed, baby. Both my Pokemon are pretty slow, and pretty defensively oriented, at least most of the time. So, Lycanroc Dust will be my third pick. It was, you know, 110 speed, 117 attack, while boosted by Tough Claws. This thing can hit pretty hard. Also has Stealth Rocks and Priority Move and Excel Rock, which I really wanted to get pretty early on, so I can use it as a lead or a revenge killer. So, 3 picks down. And I'm liking what we got so far, but I want to go back to the support role, because I found a Pokemon that I actually have never used before. Despite it like being good for essentially all the time I've played Pokemon since like Gen 5. So Cresselia is the next pick. It gives me a way of spreading Thunder Wave, which I think I'm going to need, especially because I have, again, Great Tusk. I don't want to run Speed Booster all the time. And it also has Levitate, so it can switch on ground moves aimed at Lycanroc, which is very nice. With Sustain and Lunar Blessing and Moonlight, I can heal an ally with Lunar Dance. Yeah, I think it's one of the best when it comes to taking hits, you know? And again, having that pretty good synergy, you know, I can take Dark type attack with my Great Tusk that are aimed at Cress, all that jazz, okay? So, 5th pick. I'm going pretty fast, but 5th pick. Obviously we need more speed. I'm kind of doing this thing going back and forth between offensive and defensive, but I wanted to go ahead and pick up my Terra Captain now, because I figured that it would probably be taken later. Because I think it's a pretty good pick. And that is a Suyan Electrode. With 150 speed, this thing is incredible. I can outspeed essentially everything. So speed is not something I'm particularly worried about now. Gives me type coverage that I think I needed in Electric and Grass as well, which aids in covering weaknesses that Lycanroc and Great Tusk have. You know, I'm trying to get as much synergy as possible. So I can better force speed boosting nature with this because at 150 and then my Lycanroc at 110, I can force jolly and timid natures out of people, which is nice. And as I mentioned, it's one of my Terra captains, so I can terastallize it into a grass, ice, or fairy type. That last one will be particularly important when you see how the draft ends, by the way. So for the 6th pick, at this point I kind of like lacked a plan. As I said before, I was pretty much only picking Pokemon that I liked or haven't used before. So at this point, it was kind of like rapid fire. I knew exactly what I wanted, but now I didn't know like what to do. So I thought that I probably needed a water type and also a poison type, just to get my type coverages up, and not to mention poison to stop toxic bites. So originally, I drafted Tentacruel, one of my favorite Kanto mons, but at the end of the draft, when we had kind of like unlimited free agency picks and stuff, I thought that a Alolan Muck would probably fill the role I needed better. Muck has the ability to absorb toxic spikes, as well as Tentacruel does, but having a dark typing is really good, because I think I needed a Ghost Resist, because that was the main thing that I think Cress would be weak to. And also, it's great offensive and defensively. Taunt, Sucker Punch, Shadow Sneak, Haze, Memento, Knock Off, Disable. I feel like I do a lot of cool stuff with it. And it is pretty slow at like base 50. So if I really wanted to be that kind of guy, I could run Trick Room in singles, which I never have done before, but I could. And yeah, that's why I did that. Okay, 7th pick. So it's hard to draft without getting sniped, and unfortunately that happened to me here. The plan was to get regular Typhlosion, okay? It was like 5 points. I was like, I used this thing in Season 1. I freaking killed with it. Let's draft it again. But the man I sniped regular Typhlosion from in Season 1 came back and sniped me in Season 3. So, couldn't get regular Typhlosion, but there is another option. So Hisuian Typhlosion is on the squad. Although slower, and I think slightly less bulk and HP, it is stronger, and it's still base 95, which I definitely wanted to have a Pokemon that's in between like the Great Tusk speed tier and the Lycanroc speed tier. So Hisuian Typhlosion at base 95 does that pretty well. Having Toxic on Muck and then Thunder Wave on Cress mean I can make Infernal Parade that much stronger, which is very nice. And also I think Ghost Spam is pretty solid in general. And then obviously having a Specs and Scarfmon I think is always good to have in draft, and Hisuian Typhlosion can do both, just like regular Typhlosion can. And I do plan on getting multiple Eruption sweeps like I did last season. So Hisuian Typhlosion will help me with that, and actually I can Terra this mon as well, and it can be a Fire, Ghost, and Fairy type. Again, Fairy is going to be very important. So for my 8th pick, I got a Pokemon kind of lower on the draft board. I wanted to go back up because I had a lot of points that I needed to spend, and I knew I kind of wanted a Dragon type to increase my general resistances, and I saw a Pokemon that I was somewhat surprised wasn't taken, and that's Dragonite. Multiscale is a fantastic ability. It essentially just enables me to set up a free Dragon Dance against like almost everything. Base 80 speed tier, excuse me, is definitely appreciated as it's between Tusk and Corv, and it resists many of the things that Tusk and Corv are weak to, primarily water when it comes to Tusk. Yeah, and it has very versatility. Can run special, can run physical, can be defensive. Obviously, I'll probably be having heavy duty boots on it because I don't want to ruin my multi-skill, but it also has some item variety as well. So I actually had this in Season 1, and it worked out pretty well for me. So yeah, welcome back, Dragonite. Okay, 2 picks left. And again, this is where me not having a full-on plan kind of got involved in terms of my decision making. I was very stressed by the draft timer, okay? So I picked up Sceptile originally, but then 2 minutes later I was like, what am I doing? I was thinking just getting another good speed tier mon on the team, but I quickly changed this because I remembered I needed a water type still because I planned on giving away a Tentacruel. So we picked up Inteleon instead. 120 speed tier, pretty good, between Electrode and Lycanroc, which is very nice. and can do big damage with Water, Ice, Dark, and Ghost moves. And yes, Scope Lens, Sniper Shot will be used. I will be destroying with crits, and they will be all skill, baby. No luck involved out here. Alright, so, last pick. So, I originally wanted another physical attacker with general coverage, so I chose Hitmonchan. But upon further reflection, I wasn't so sure about it, given the changes I made with like Tentacruel and Sceptile. So instead, I wanted another defensive piece for switch-in potential, which also had offensive coverage just in case. So Porygon 2 was the final pick. With Analytic, it can actually hit somewhat hard, and with Eviolite, it is insanely bulky. Now granted, I do wish it being made kind of weak with knockoff, but I think I can maneuver pretty well. Not to mention, it has Tri-Attack and Thunder Wave, which can status things for my Hisuian Typhlosion's Infernal Parade, which is very nice. So, that's the team. I like it, you know, I think your boy kind of cooked, I'm not gonna lie. I think these are all Pokemon that I like. Some of them I haven't used before. I think they synergize somewhat well. Big thing, I don't have a Fairy type. But this is because, like, by the time I got to the point where I kind of was thinking about some, they essentially all got taken, and I knew I was going to put Fairy Tera on my Mons anyway, so I was just like, I'm not going to draft a mid-Fairy type just to have the type, you know? And then, also, another weakness, I actually only have Stealth Rock on this team. Lycanroc and Great Tusk, no Stealth Rock. I don't have any Spikes, don't have any Sticky Web, and this can become an issue, because I think I'm like the only Pokemon, I'm the only team that doesn't have at least 2 hazards, which kind of sucks, because my ability to rack up passive damage through spikes and all that will definitely be less. So I'm definitely going to have to make sure that when I get up rocks, it's going to be vital to winning the game. Alright? So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm just going to have to play well, you know? And I do have Spin, and I have a Defog, so I can get rid of my opponent's hazard just fine. And with Defog, I'll probably just get rid of my own hazard anyway, so I don't think it'd be that big of a deal. Anyway, I'm sure I tried to make this vid as quick as possible, okay? Sorry I went so fast. But I kind of just want to review my team before we get into the actual games, because I want to focus on each matchup specifically. And I didn't want to start week 1 going over what my team actually was. So yeah, the first match should probably be next week, hopefully. 1 or 2 weeks, sometime. So make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, so you can know when I upload the first match. Thank you guys for watching. I know this was very chaotic. Until next time, Average Gamer signing off. I'll catch y'all next time.